All right, here's a quick lesson going over lead-ins to target notes, specific target notes. A lot of time these notes are going to be chord tones, right? So if we're talking about the key of G, for example, if we know our tuning, it's G, B, D, G, B, D. G is the root of the chord, B is the third, and D is the fifth. So a lot of times if you're kicking off a solo, you want to really play the melody, embellish the melody is usually the first goal. A lot of times the melody note on a lot of common bluegrass songs or folk songs, the melody note is a majority of the time is going to be one of those three notes. It's going to be a chord tone. It's going to be the G, it's going to be the third, which is the B, or it's going to be the fifth, which is the D. And a good place just to kind of start is looking at the G on the third string, but also realizing that G is also on that fifth string of the on the fifth fret of the fourth string, right? So if I do like a two-note lead into that, I'll typically a real common one is that fourth string open, second fret, and then landing on that G note, right? So I'm leading in and approaching that target note. Right? If I play the G on the fourth string, I can kind of do that, or I can slide up to it. Right? And that kind of is a good way to kind of kick off your solo idea, or if you're just kind of playing the melody, it's a good way to lead into it and embellish some of those things. Right? Another common one to get to that G note is doing like a three-note pickup, which can be used as a kickoff to a song or a kickoff to a solo as well. Right? So I'm 0, 2, 4 going to that 5 on the 4 string. Going into a roll pattern. Or whatever your solo or whatever you're playing is, right? So you get the two-note lead in or a three-note lead in. Right? And another kind of common thing you can kind of do is kind of maybe do like it's like a four-note, technically, eighth note, kind of like pickup, basically, right? And what I like to do is do that fourth string open, hammer on the second fret, third string open, first string open. So those are my kind of my lead-in notes, right? So I'm going to that third string G. Or if I'm going to that G on the fourth string. Right? All right, so let's say the third is going to be the note that you're going for, right? So it's very common to kind of play that note on that fourth fret of the third string. It's also the second string open. You could use that as your target note as well. I'm going to kind of focus on this fourth fret of the third string though. So again, if I just do a two-note kind of walk up, I would do the third string open, second fret of that string, leading into that note. Something like that, right? Approaching that note, right? Not just starting the solo on beat 1, but approaching that note. So another example, if I'm going to do like let's say a 4-note approach to it, I could go 0, 2 on the 4th string, 0, 2 on the 3rd string, right? D, E, G, A, going to that target note. And as you can see, I'm doing hammer-ons there. And then also, as you're kind of doing these target notes, there's plenty you can do. You can hit the first string at the same time. You know, if I want a deep kind of bass sound, I'll hit that sixth string. Right, get the notes to kind of ring into each other there. And then we could also do that thing, the kind of the 4-note, kind of 8th note roll like lead in, right? Same thing. We could use the same 4 notes as we did with the last one, right? So that's 0, 2, D, E on the 4th string, 3rd string, 2nd string. But this time, my target note, instead of being the G note, it's going to be the B. Right? Again, you can add the 6th string. Right? Just a couple different ideas of kind of how I'm talking about those lead-in notes. Just kind of acting as a kind of like a launch pad to different ideas. All right, so let's move on to the what if the melody or your target note is going to be the D note of the chord. We have this top string that's kind of common to hit, but also just kind of hitting that 3rd fret of the 2nd string is another D note that's kind of popular to begin a solo on or whatever. So if I'm going to do a 2-note approach to that, a lot of times I'll hit that 1st string along with it. Right? It's kind of getting into banjo territory here. Like a good 3-note approach to this is very classic banjo. Just going up chromatically. So that's 0, 1, 2, 3 on that 2nd string. You know, that sort of sound, very, like I said, banjo-like. And then like another idea you could do. I mean, we're talking about coming below the target note. You can always kind of come above for some of these and try out different ideas. But I'll just kind of end on this thing where I'm going to take that kind of that 4-note, 8th note approach again, kind of that roll thing. But instead of doing the same 4 notes, right, you could do that. Doesn't really connect as well. But if I take the same idea and I just bump up to that 3rd string, and I'm just going to focus on the top 3 strings, but I go 0, 2 on that 3rd string, then the top 2 strings open as my pattern, so the G, the A note, and then get to that 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Right, you can kind of hear how that just kind of can creates momentum and can kind of give you different ideas. Right, so again, just kind of focusing on the chord tones, right, of the G chord in this case. So G being the root, B's the 3rd, using this one, using this D as my 5th, and just kind of thinking of different ways to approach those notes to kind of either start a song that I'm kicking off or start a solo even. So yeah, kind of take those ideas and you can do those in other keys as well as approach other chords as well, right? So each chord has its own set of notes. But yeah, hopefully that's something useful for you and you can take those ideas and run with them.